parts just to make sure that you guys all have everything. And I like to just go over it just because. So you should have this piece. It should have 2 holes drilled into the bottom here. There should be one that's a little larger than the other one. If you can't really tell, it is a-okay. We will figure that out later. You should have 2 bodies and 2 heads. You should have 2 different colored ribbon. You should have a little confetti that goes on the bottom here. You should have these 2 beads. This is your glue container. It's just a single white, and you should have a single black container and then 2 of the white. So it's like an off-white. So you should have those as well. Just remember that single white one is your glue. You should have 4 ears. It's just a set of 2. And then you should also have 2 noses or muzzles. And then you should have a Be Mine sign and this little wired stem. And then you should have a paintbrush, 2 Q-tips, and a toothpick. And then you should also have all of your parts for your fence. So you'll have these 2 that have 3 holes in them. You should have 3 just wooden planks there. And then 1 of this piece of wood here that has the 2 holes in it. And I think that's it.
There's lots of parts to this kit.
Yes.
Just in case, I know some of you are still just joining, I'm letting you in from the waiting room. So we just went over what parts are part of the kit. And just in case you didn't get beforehand some supplies, we would definitely suggest getting some paper towels, a water bowl, maybe a paper plate, something to put your paint on. And also we like to use baby wipes. They are great for cleaning off your hands, or if you mess up and put paint where it doesn't belong, it's very easy to get the paint off the gourd that way too. So just to give you that. Otherwise, I think if everybody's ready, we're going to get started.
All right. So the first thing that I want us to do is to paint our little gourds. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush and my paints, and then I'm going to grab all of the pieces to my gourd. So I'm going to grab the 2 bodies, and I'm also going to grab the 2 heads. I'm going to start with the heads, and I think I want you guys to start with the heads as well. That way those get done and dried first, so we can do everything we need to do with the head. So go ahead and paint your heads there. Now I will dip my paint brush into my water just a little bit. You do not need to drench your paintbrush, just enough to get it a little bit wet, just damp. And then I'll go and dip it into my paint. And then when you're painting your head, you do not have to paint the very sanded bottom part here. And you don't have to really get in the side of any of the holes. And if you do not want your stem painted, I would just work your way away from that stem, if that makes sense. So I'll start at the stem and go down. You are more than welcome to paint your stem if you would like to, but you do not have to. And we are going to do a couple coats on these.
And why do you like to put water on on your brush before you dip it in the white paint?
I just think that it makes the paint go on a little bit smoother, and it helps decrease some of those lines that you see. Now it won't get rid of like all of the lines, because I know that deceives people sometimes. They're like, why do I have lines? And I'm like, well, it just happens. They aren't, I mean, you're hand painting your pieces, so when we paint them in the back, we are actually spraying them on. So you're gonna have lines pretty much regardless, but I will say the thinner coats that you do and the more coats that you do will help take those lines out.
And it dries super fast too.
Yes, if you thin it out a little bit and don't go as heavy on the coats.
And please, if we go too fast or anything, please do not feel that you're going to hurt our feelings or anything. Let us know so that we can slow down a little bit.
Yes. So I just finished my first coat on the one head, and I'm going to jump to the next head. These heads are the exact same, so it does not matter. Also, I do want to let you guys know if you would like to use any other color, if you have at home, you're more than welcome to do that. And I think I'm going to make my one bear different. So just because I want
She
to be
can.
different. I want to be different. So
I'm going to make it like this, but she'll make
Yes.
hers different. So we can.
Yep, you guys keep going. I'm going to make it different. And if anybody else wants to make it different, you are more than welcome to. I'm just using the black paint that you already have. And I'm going to make a gray. It's going to make a gray bear because I just want to.
That is what is so fun about these kits, because you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Well, that looks very cute. Is
Love
that
it.
going to be your boy?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to make it different. I like them being the same, but I just want them different today.
Okay.
And I will say,
Oh,
if you are mixing, you just kind of have to work with it because you will get kind of different colors as you paint if you don't make enough right away. But I will also say if you are mixing and you're using that black paint, make sure you save some of that black paint so we can do the eyes. So that's what that black paint is actually for, is your eyes. But I'm going to use some of it and mix. So.
I know we just left Rachel in. Rachel, what we're doing right now is just painting the gourds. We started out with the two heads. So you can go ahead and start painting them. What we do suggest is putting your paintbrush in the water first, just a little bit to make it damp. And then you're going to pick your white paint, which is the 2 containers of white paint, and go ahead and just do a thin coat. We're going to do a couple coats on there. So, but you can go ahead. That's all we've started so far.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. So I'm going to let the 2 heads dry. I'm going to go to the bodies. Now, before you go and just paint the bodies, what I want you to do, especially if you're doing the 2 different colors, is make sure you look to see which gourd is taller. So I set them on the table here, and whichever one is taller is going to be your male. Whatever.
That makes sense.
Yes. So it'll be this one here, the taller one. And then the shorter one is going to be the female there. So just in case you're doing 2 separate colors, if not, go ahead and paint away.
And do we need to paint the sanded top or the sanded bottom?
You do not. That's a
Okay,
good
well then that's
question.
how I'm going to hold mine.
Yes. Yep. You can just stick your finger right down that hole there and just paint away.
Of course, I stuck my finger in the paint.
And like I said, if it's taking a while to get that paint on there, get that paintbrush a little bit wetter. It'll just take a couple more coats, but it'll make it a little bit faster for you.
Yeah, because my heads
And
are dry
easier.
already,
Yeah.
which makes it really nice. Okay, so have you done classes with us before, anybody? Yes? Oh, good.
So yes.
Good, okay. Well, we're glad you came back. We're very excited because we're trying to get a plan in place where we have like a whole year of Zoom classes scheduled. So we have the first half of the year. Now they're still only going to come out at certain times, but this guarantees that we'll continue to be doing Zoom classes. Everybody that has done them before, at least I hope that you that have done them before, enjoy them. So we keep getting requests to continue them. So that's what we're going to try and do. I do have the next ones that are coming up, so I can show you those in a little bit once.
All right, and then once you get your first coat on all of your pieces, you can go ahead and jump to the next coat.
Normally, I think it takes about 3 coats for us till it looks like it's actually coated.
Yes. Especially that white.
Yeah.
So in case those that are like watching me are wondering what I am doing.
She doesn't know.
Well,
No.
I'm trying, I'm just making it look a little texturized on my darker one, just to make it look more like fur of a bear. That's all I'm doing. And I'm just taking a darker color and kind of dabbing it on.
Okay, so just so that you guys know, the paint that we are using right now is a latex paint. It will come off of your hands. It is water-based, so just soap and water will get it off. But if you do get it on your clothes, it's just like the paint that you use in your house. It will stain your clothes. So you just want to be really careful about not getting it on your clothes. But we use latex paint for our black and our white. And then the rest of our gourds that we make, we use an oil-based, no. Yeah, it's oil-based dye.
It's okay.
So.
And again, I'm also doing that with the white paint. So this also kind of, to give you an example, this also kind of resembles if we would use a sponge. Because some of our pieces that we have here are sponged. So I'm just giving it that kind of a look, if that makes sense, if that helps explain. So I'm also doing that with the white one. So I just did a light coat, and now I'm going back with
your fluff.
Yes, with the fluff and just kind of dabbing it. And like Dori said, she is just following the original here, and it's just a single white coat. Single meaning just not dabbing like what I'm doing.
Right. I'm not sure where all of you are tuning in from, but it is cold here in PA. It is a tad chilly, and we normally like to try and tell you what's going on on the farm, but there's not much going on the farm except the gourds are drying. So we cut them off the vine in the fall, and they are still out there. We're hoping, I think, the end of this month or beginning of next month to get into the fields and actually start bringing them in.
Yes.
So, and that's a process in itself, because once we bring them in, we have to size them, and then according to how big they are, and then also what shape they are, so that we know what products to make with each thing.
Yep.
And our farmer just had a baby 4 days ago. So she needs some time to recoup a little bit before
she gets out there.
Yeah. So.
So we're still painting away. Again, if you're doing exactly what Dori is doing, it's going to take a couple coats. So I think you're on your second.
I'm on my second coat, and I'm just about to start my third. With my third coat, I am not going to put it in water. I'm going to use the paint full, because I think that I have enough on there as a base, and now I think I'm just going to use it right out of the container. And I don't know if I'll need any more coats or not, but. Okay. Oh, I might need one more.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have to tell you guys, this is the first time we're actually in our video room. As you can tell, my store is not behind us like it normally is. And we're so excited. We don't have to put up the table and the chairs and everything else and then take it all down. And we now have a video room that we can do our Zoom classes in.
So nice.
It is very nice. Everybody doing okay? Okay, great. Let's see if anybody else is in the waiting room. A Zoom user is in the waiting room. I don't know who that could be. I am not going to let them in. I don't recognize that person. Okay. All I can see for Sarah is I see just two hands, one on one side of the screen and one on the other side of the screen. And it looks funny. And we had one group that was going to have a group of 5 together, and they were going to, but they weren't going to leave their screen on. They thought 5 would be way too many. So I said that was perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yep. But I told her she had questions, she could chat with us.
Yes.
So
sure.
I said that sounds like a lot of fun to get a bunch of people together and
that would be a lot of fun. I would enjoy that.
Have a paint night. So what are you on now? Are you done with yours?
I don't know. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do one more layer on the white one, and then I think it's good to go.
Okay.
how's yours going along?
It's going. I think my bodies are going to be okay with 3. For some reason, it seems like the egg gourd is taking the paint. It's not sinking in quite as much, but I think for the head, I'm going to need a 4th coat on my head.
Okay. Great. So I think mine are good to go.
Okay.
And once you are done painting your gourds, we're going to let them dry for a little bit. And we'll come back to them.
So we can just move them to the side a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
That's why I put the plastic down.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I am messy.
And so am I. Except normally it's my hands that get messy.
Yes. All right, I'll stop because that's probably loud.
We can do it at the end.
All right. See, everybody's still painting.
Yep.
Some of you are still waiting. So while we have those that are still painting kind of finish up a little bit there, I'm gonna say what we're gonna do next. And what I want us to do next is this, as I throw it, the heart be mine sign and your little stem. So it's the wire stem. Go ahead and get those 2 items, and then you'll also need your glue and a Q-tip. So that's going to be our next task. So go ahead and grab those things. Those that are still painting, continue to paint. No rush. Do something. I don't like my one. That's okay. While we're waiting for everybody, I think I'm gonna just do 1 coat over it.
There you go. I'll let them dry a little bit, and then I'll see if I need to do another coat. Okay, while I'm waiting for mine to dry a little bit, I did want to show you some of the classes. I don't know if you guys are real close to where we are or not. So I will show you the ones that we're going to be doing at the farm if you're interested. And then I will show you the next Zoom class if you haven't already seen it. So this one is coming up in February. It is Willow the bunny, and we're not going to glue it because you can put a battery operated tea light underneath there, and then his little bunny belly, I guess, will light up. So that one is February. Gotta get my cheat sheet out, and I didn't write it down. I think it's what, February 27th? Does that sound right?
That does sound right.
Yeah, let me look here. 25th. So this one is the 25th, and I know there's still some spots left for that one. And then in March, if you've never done our Create Your Own, we have 2 weekends of Create Your Own coming up. It is March 18th, 19th, 24th, and 25th. And that is where we do all kinds of projects. There's 4 different sizes, and there's probably like 6 different projects in each size. So you're going to pay initially $10 to reserve your seat. And then after that, we'll just charge you for whatever you actually make that day. You sign up for a 2-hour window. Some people make one thing, people make 10 things. And then the initial $10 will go towards whatever you craft. And then this is the other farm class that's going to be coming up. It is a gnome cottage. This will be electric lit. And the gnome cottage is April 29th. And this class is $45. And it's adorable. Right now, this one, the hat comes off of it. We haven't glued it on yet, but it's really neat. And then in May, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a class at the farm where you will make a little fairy, a little gnome, and a little mushroom to go with the cottage. So that's kind of neat.
Super cute.
Yeah. And then the next Zoom class is going to be April 25th, just in time for Mother's Day. And it is a Mother's Day bird cottage. So I don't know if you guys can see, but on the top there, it says mom. So it would make a great Mother's Day gift for your mom, or buy her a kit and have her come to your house or whatever, and you guys can do it together for the Zoom class. And then it also comes with this little purple bird. And then you can either set the purple bird, outside, or it actually fits. I'm doing this backwards. Hold on. It actually can sit inside. So, oh, sorry, he fell over. Okay, he's not cooperating, but he does fit inside there. That you can do. So this class also is $45. That does include shipping, so you don't have shipping on top of that. But everything will come, all the little flowers will come and all the paints, but you are always more than welcome to, change paints. If you don't like purple and your mom likes green, you can make a green bird. You just have to supply your own paints for that. And I know that there are spots for all of these classes as of right now. So that's what's coming up.
All right.
Okay, so let me just see. Actually, I think I'm pretty good with my coats, although I have a little run. So I'm gonna just get rid of that.
All right. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and work on this little Be Mine sign. So all I want us to do with that is we're gonna go ahead and glue this wire stem to the back of the sign. No rhyme or reason with it, but I will say is you want to make sure that the wire stem does stick down at the bottom, because we are going to eventually stick it down into one of the holes onto our wood piece.
Okay.
So you want to just make sure some of that is hanging down. To glue that, you'll take your Q-tip and your glue, and you're going to just make a line on the back of your sign right down the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to use a lot, just enough to stick that sign. And I'm going to set this to the side, but save that Q-tip. We'll use that later. And then you're just going to take your wire and glue it down. So I just laid that right down the center there. So you can see, yeah, there we go, that I kept some of it up. And then you'll just set that to the side while your bodies are drying. Go ahead and set that to the side, and we'll let that dry.
I had to go over my runs.
Hey, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we got bodies, we got
Yep.
signs.
Yep.
What are we on to now?
The next thing that I want us to do is we're going to put our fence together.
Okay.
So you'll need all your pieces to your fence. You'll need these three.
Hold on a second. Oh, that's a good idea, Margaret. That's not a problem at all. No, the gnome house is not going to be a Zoom class. That is only going to be one that is at the farm. So what I can do though is if you're interested in it, I can actually see whether or not you could purchase a kit. And we could maybe mail or, ship it to you with some simple instructions to, to paint it, because we don't videotape our farm classes, but with some instructions, and you can always call us. I can check into that. So just let me know if you might be interested in that. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So
I'll call out.
these 3 pieces, you'll need the 2 sides and your base.
Okay.
Okay. So first things first is I would take one of your 3 hold pieces and stick these things right into the hole of those. You will have to wiggle and push. Unfortunately, they are kind of a tight, like,
Yes, they are, aren't they?
yeah.
Oh, and when you're doing it, make sure that your holes are sideways so that you can get your post through.
Yes.
Last thing you want to do is wiggle it in and then figure out it's the wrong direction.
That would not be good.
Okay, got one in.
I think we're both doing 2 separate things, but that's okay.
What are you doing? Oh, you're putting them. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I didn't understand the instructions. See, I'm
That's
even
okay.
standing beside her.
That's okay. That is a-okay. So this is the stuff that I'm doing first. If you did the stuff that Dori's doing, totally fine. You can do that too. But I do it this way just so that I can then put this down, and it's just easier for me to get them in and out. So I would just put these together first.
Yes, I can see where that would be a lot easier. See, I'm the one who has to make the things difficult. Yeah, I gotta take mine out.
Yeah. Okay, so there. So I put these 3 in first on this side. The other side, what I'm doing is I stick them in, so just right there, and I'm just gonna wiggle each of them in until they pretty much go in. It is a tight squeeze, unfortunately. You just have to kind of wiggle and push just a little.
I'm using the
that you
table.
Yeah, that you don't
Yeah.
break them.
Yes. Okay, so now I will wiggle
I'm just
them
kind
in.
of like worry a little bit,
Okay.
just enough so that they get in there.
Well, that side was really easy. The other side was hard. So I don't know what. Yeah, the one side was really easy for me, but
That's
yes.
good.
Okay, so now
Okay.
I can put them back in my stand.
Yes, now you can go ahead and put them in the hold. And if you need to move them in or out, you can. So that they go right down in the hole there.
It's nice we don't have to glue them at least.
Yes.
They're tight enough that you don't have to do it.
Yes, no glue is required. No, these are also a tight squeeze too.
Mm-hmm.
Just wiggle and push. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah. Okay, good.
No good way of doing it. Sure.
Is everybody getting their fences together? Okay, great.
Mine is not wanting to go in.
They are little tricky things, I gotta tell you.
They are. There we go. Okay.
Oh, but they look so cute.
If it's not, so this bottom piece, if you're having trouble with it, just try and flip it the other way. Mine, I was having difficulty with it on this side, but I flipped it and I was able to get it in a little bit better on the other side. So just a tip, just in case you are having a little bit of a difficult time getting that in. And like I said, wiggle and push. That is all you've got to do.
Wiggle and push.
Okay.
Check.
Yep.
I think. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So My next thing that I want to do is I want to go back to your heads. So grab your two heads and grab,
Hold on, let me see. Are we going at an okay speed? Put your thumbs up if we are. Okay. I just want to make sure because I know it's a lot of steps and a lot of wiggling and jiggling and everything. So I just want to make sure that we're not losing anybody.
yes.
So, okay. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So we have, what I have in front of me is my two heads.
You went back to your white.
Yes, I did.
She no longer has a gray bear.
No, I did. I mean, it has some spots in it. It looks like fur
Okay.
still, but I did not like it.
Okay. Oh, you're funny. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go.
Okay.
We're talking about our heads.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have your two heads. You'll need your ears. So both sets of
Okay.
ears. And then we also are going to put in our little muzzle too.
Okay.
And your muzzle should be already painted for you, colored and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's go ahead and glue our ears in first. So you'll need that Q-tip that you were using for your glue.
Okay.
You'll of course need your glue. All right. And to glue those ears, you want to take and dip your Q-tip in your glue, and then you're going to put some glue in the inside of your ears. And I only do the back side, and the back side will be the side that doesn't have the hole.
Right.
And I would just go ahead and put glue in both of those ears on both heads. It will, this is tacky glue, and it'll take about like 30 minutes or so to really tack up. So you've got time.
And the nice thing too is it dries clear.
Yes.
So even if you do have a little bit on the gourd on the outside, once it dries, you're never going to see it, which makes it really, really nice.
Yes.
Are you going to explain about the sides of the ears?
Yes.
Okay.
So these ears, as you can see, hopefully you can see it. I don't think if I bring it up to the camera, I don't think you're going to be able to see it. But what I'll tell you is flip them, lay them on one side of the table and notice that side, and then flip them again. Or if you have one side, whatever, you'll notice little dots. Those dots are going to be the back of it. So when we go to glue them in, what you'll do is you'll fold it, and you'll want that more smooth side to be folded in. And then those dots will be on the back side of that ear. And the point of that ear then is going to go down into the hole. So you'll fold it, the point will go down into the hole. And then I would take your paintbrush, the back side of it, and put it in the inside to spread those ears out just a little bit to look just like that. And that's all you'll do. Did everyone get that? Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. I just want to make sure that I explained that good enough for you. And these ears, yes, some of them are going to be kind of challenging to fold in half.
They're so little.
They are very little. Fun fact, whenever we are actually gluing these in actual production, yes, we are gluing them just like this in production. And we do hundreds.
Yes, we do.
So when we do them, we actually have heat lamps in the back that we use, and we turn them on, and it actually, because these are Pellin, and they'll actually heat up really nice and actually bend super, super easy. Just a tip for you guys at home, if they are too hard,
Yeah.
you can go and throw them in your microwave and it'll soften them up. Don't throw them in too long though.
Yeah, people ask us all the time what are ears, whether they're bunny ears or whether they're dog ears or whatever. And what we use is a material called Pellin. A lot of people have never heard of it, but it is, and it's pretty thick.
Yes.
And it comes in sheets.
Yes. All right, so I got both of my ears in. The next step that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue my muzzles in. But
What are we doing beforehand?
let's do this. It's kind of the same. We're kind of doing both. So we're gonna glue our muzzle in at the same time we're gonna do our eyes. And I say that because it's gonna take a little bit for these muzzles to tack up and we're gonna have to lay them back. But I want that muzzle to be in place for you when you do the eyes. So what we're gonna do is I will explain it before you do it. So let me explain. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Q-tip with our glue. We're going to put glue on the very inside of our circle and we're gonna stick our muzzle right down in. Make sure it's placed exactly where you want it. Don't move it, let it go. We're going to take our other Q-tip that we did not use and dip it into our black paint and we're gonna put our eyes on. I don't have any black paint on, this is not glued in. I just wanna kind of show you before I just go and do it. And I'll explain it while I'm doing it again, just in case you guys need that. Just totally fine. So like I said, you'll take your Q-tip, you'll dip it in your black paint. And then to do the eyes, what I normally do is I go from the outside corner of the nose. So the drawing of the nose, I'll go on the outside corner. Now what I'll tell you is the harder you push on your Q-tip, the bigger your eye is going to be. So if you want them to be kind of tiny eyes like these here, just barely touch that Q-tip onto your board. So those are my tips with that. So back to the beginning, I'm going to take my glue, dip my Q-tip in my glue, and I'm gonna put some glue on the inside of the rim of the circle. And like Dori mentioned earlier, it is a-okay if you get glue on the outside of your board. It'll dry clear. So I'm gonna see if you guys can see that. You can kind of see my glob of glue in there.
Yeah.
And then I'll stick the muzzle right where I want it. Kind of line it up before you stick it in, just so you don't get glue everywhere. If you're kind of picky about that, I am.
And just make sure that that like the little white dot on the nose is at the top. That's the
Yes.
top of the nose.
Yes. And keep a hold of that gourd whenever you get that glued in. Don't set that to the side. We're going to do those eyes.
Okay.
I do have to set mine down because I forgot to open my paint first.
Black paint.
Probably would have been a good idea.
That's okay.
Okay.
Could you also use the back of your paintbrush?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do that. I think to make my eyes, because I think that's about the size I want, I'm going to use, instead of the brush point, I'm going to use the back end of my paintbrush. And I'm just going to dip that in and then make my little eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see how that goes.
So I'll do one eye. I normally work on to the left side first, and then I'll do the right eye, if that helps anybody. And there we go.
There's my eyes. You can see them.
Yeah. There we go. All right, and so I'm going to set that to the side, and we're going to let that dry. So when you set it to the side, I would lean it up against something. So maybe take your fence and lay your fence down and just lay that up next to the fence so it doesn't roll around.
That's a good idea.
And I'll go to my next head. And again, the same thing. Just put some glue on the inside rim of that circle, cut out. And again, this is exactly pretty much how we glue them together in production. We actually just use our regular glue bottle. We don't use Q-tips in the back. We just use our glue bottle, put a little bit of glue in there and plop this right down. And then do the eye. Okay. And then we don't need our black anymore. Yes. Okay, you can set that to the side as I drop it.
Okay.
Okay, so your black is done. We will still need our white just to do the little fleck in the eye.
And we'll need our glue.
Yes, you'll still need your glue. We're going to keep that glue out because we're going to keep gluing. So I think my next step that I want us to do is let's go ahead and glue our little tree that is in the back here. I'll turn this around. So that's what the tree looks like in the back. So all you do is your pieces should already be kind of bent. Now you can leave them side by side like this and glue them down in, or I think I'm going to like make one go in the center, like a color, and then the other one. Okay. So then what I'm also going to do is I actually pulled out one of the berries. That way it has like a solid place to glue on the bottom. Did your eyes go okay?
Yeah.
And if you do mess up on your eyes, what I want to say is use your wipes and wipe them off and redo them.
Yeah. They got okay. Okay. So.
Yep. So you'll need your wood piece and you'll need your little tree. Okay. And then I bent them. You place them however you want on there. You can put them together, put them side by side, however you want. And you just want to make sure all those berries on the bottom are kind of clear. Mm-hmm. That way we can glue that very bottom into our wood here. So what I would do is I would look at your wood piece and just see which hole is bigger. Mm-hmm. I can tell because I drilled these. So I would just kind of dry fit these in. Okay. And that way you know, because they'll fit in the other one it'll be like a tighter fit, but either way it'll be totally fine.
Okay. And we're going to put glue in there?
Yes. So I would put glue in there right down in that hole, and then you'll just put your tree right down in there. And then while your tree is kind of hanging out in the glue, I would just kind of fix it up how you want. I wouldn't fix it too much, just because with the next steps, it will kind of get
covered.
Yeah, it'll get covered, it'll get pushed around. So bend them however you would like there. And there we go. And that tree does go to the back. Okay. So I am going to move my heads to the side because we're going to do a lot of gluing. So this is kind of all one step, just because it'll be a lot easier if we do it all in one step. And when I say that is we're going to glue everything down onto our piece in one step. So what I want us to do is we'll take our glue and we're going to put a ton of glue on the bottom of our piece here. Now, what I'll say is do not use all of your glue because we still have to glue our heads to our bodies. So you'll need enough just to do that. So go ahead and take your Q-tip, get a glob of glue, and just rub it onto the bottom of your piece here. Just like this, as you see us doing.
This will be the messy part with all the glitter.
Yes.
We're breaking the room in good.
Yes, we are. And just really smooth that out just because you don't have like a ton of glue, depending on how much you want your glitter covering your piece. Mm-hmm. And again, make sure you save some glue. Just
yeah, because we'll have to also glue our little sign in too.
Yeah, go ahead and put glue in that hole though. That's that second hole that you have. Go ahead and put glue in there because we're going to go ahead and glue that sign in too.
Okay.
Okay, I think I have, and make sure we're going to have to kind of work a little bit fast with this
because it's thin.
It's very thin and it's going to dry. So my first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fence and I'm going to glue that down. I am going to take a little bit of extra glue on the bottom of my fence, just on the very edges, just because I don't have glue on the edges of my wood piece. So I'm just going to glue that down. on the back, and I would push it down just a little bit.
And that's gonna go right in front of the trees, right?
Yes, right in front of those trees there. And center that however you want with the trees in the back. If you want the trees centered, I would make sure your piece is a little centered there. But you also want to make sure you center it too, that that sign is also going to be in between your bears.
Okay.
So then I would just take your two bodies then, and I would put a little bit of glue on the bottom of them too. Just very little glue, just enough for them to tack up. And stick that down. And again with the other side, with the other body, I should say. Okay, and then our next step is to glue our little sign. And you'll just stick that right in the hole. Just like that. So then, once you get all that glued on, you can go ahead and sprinkle your little, call it confetti.
Yeah, it's kind of like confetti.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes the wire wrapped or the wire or the paper that's on the wire, sometimes it gets spread out at the bottom. If that is the case for you, sometimes I just take a little bit of glue and kind of glue it back together and then stick it down in.
Yes. And I'm just taking my bag with this and just kind of sprinkling it on. And I would kind of tap them down just so that they do stick. And if there's some spots that you would like your little confetti and you don't have glue there, just take a little bit more of your glue and put some there so that they'll stick.
I'm making a mess because I'm taking it out of the bag.
That's okay.
That way I feel like I can kind of like tilt and
Get it to where you need
yeah.
or want, I should
Yep,
say.
and then I'll just pat it down in.
Yeah. I'm gonna shake some of them off that didn't hold.
Yeah.
So yeah, super cute. And if you want to use some of this confetti to actually put on your bears, you are more than welcome to.
Didn't think about that.
And like I said, this glue does take a little bit to tack up. So you just want to be careful you don't like bump them a good bit. How's everybody doing?
That was a lot of steps kind of fast, but hopefully everybody.
Just to kind of go over what we did in case is we just glued everything to our wood piece, the base of it. So we started out gluing our tree in the back. Then we glued our wood fence. Then we glued our two bodies, our Be Mine sign, and then we put our little confetti on the very bottom, just to go over kind of everything that we did.
It's useless.
I know.
I figure I will bring the sweeper in tomorrow.
All right. So once you guys get that done, oh, I know what we can do while we wait for those eyes. I think my next step that I want us to do is we're going to twist the wire stem on the head of our gourds. So you can see in this here, these stems are actually, or wire, are actually twisted. To get them to be twisted, all you do is you take, I'm going to take the back of my paintbrush. It's the sturdiest thing we've got in our kit. So I would use that. And I'm going to put the wire stem on the paintbrush just like this. Hold it with your thumb and you're just going to twist it around. Just like that. And I'm going to do that with both heads. Be careful you don't knock your ears out. And you can bend it back and then to get away from the ears, and then you can bring it back forward. How's that going?
It's going okay. Trying not to hit my ears, and I don't really want a big curl, but just a little one, just a little. Yeah.
Fun fact. So we put these wire stems on a lot of our like winter products. That way you can hang them off a Christmas tree. So just to tell you why we kind of put them on there. And sometimes we do it just for like a decorative type thing too. So that's pretty much what this is, because I feel like this would be a little too heavy to hang off a Christmas tree. And it's Valentine's Day. So Christmas trees might not be up, but if they are, that's okay.
You never know. Some people keep them up year round, so.
And that's okay. All right. The next step is we're going to put that little white fleck in the eye. So you'll need your white paint and your toothpick. All right, so you'll grab one of your heads. You're gonna dip your toothpick into the paint. And where I put the little white fleck is about, if you're looking at a clock, you'll put it at like 2 o'clock, where that 2 is where I put it. And that's the same on both eyes. Just a little white dot. Okay. And I'll do that on my second head too. Right. And that's it. We do not need our paint anymore once you're all done with that. Let's bring this up just so you can see. Hopefully you can see that little white fleck. So once you get those little white flecks in the eye, the last step that we have that I'm actually going to be able to show you right now is to glue that head onto the body. So go ahead and do that. You'll grab your Q-tip again and your glue. I would put the glue on the bottom of your head on that sanded part around the entire circle, and then you'll just stick the head right onto the body.
Now, when we do our projects and stuff, sometimes people will ask if you need to put like a finishing spray on. Because we're using like a latex paint or even acrylic paint, you normally do not have to put a finish on. The only reason I think I'm going to for this particular class is I'm going to spray the glitter on the bottom, and that will kind of adhere it to the bot or to the wood biscuit. I know we put glue down, but it's just an extra layer, and then that way I'll just spray the gourds while I'm at it. But you don't have to, if you don't want, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to, or if you don't have it around the house, that's fine. Because the gourds are white, you're going to want a polyacrylic instead of a polyurethane. If you use a polyurethane, it will be fine at first, but over time your bears will turn yellow. So that's the only thing with that. But like I said, that's entirely up to you whether or not you want to use a spray or not.
Yes. So our pieces do not look done, but I am not able to tie the ribbon around the neck of the gourds, but I can still explain to you how we do that. I just take so you'll want to wait. I like to personally wait until the next day.
Yeah, like the next tomorrow morning.
To tie them, just to give them enough time to tack up, because you don't want to decapitate these poor gourds. So
I've done that before though, just to let you know, so don't feel bad.
Yes, I have too. So you'll just take your ribbon and you'll tie it, you'll put it around the very back, you'll tie it in the front, and then you'll just tie your bow like a normal bow. Yeah. So I take it, so I can kind of show you. I just take one side and I'll wrap it and go through that hole and I'll pull. And it'll make like a really nice bow.
Yeah, you can decide how big you want the bow to be then. I mean, there's plenty of ribbon here. If you want a really big bow, you can leave it. Or if you want, the strands, the ends to come down and be like on the wood biscuit, you can do that.
Yep.
If that's entirely up to you and to what you like.
Yes. But that is the finishing pieces.
There we go. Does anybody have any questions about this project, about projects coming up, about Meadowbrook, or anything that we can answer for you? Now, if you'd like to unmute yourselves, you may. So, okay. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you had a good time, Karen. If there's no other questions, then we are actually done. For those of you who are just watching tonight and then are going to watch the video later, if for some reason you have any questions, please email me or call me. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Or once we turn everything off here, if you have a question, oh, I should have asked that, please feel free to call me. I like to talk, so it's not a problem. So, okay, well, thank you ladies very much. If there's gentlemen, I'm sorry I can't see you, but thank you very much for coming and spending the evening with us, and I hope that you can do another Zoom class with us. Have a nice evening.